Hello again and welcome back to the Pretendies. Last time I highlighted 9 games which I thought deserved some praise. Now it's time to give out the biggest award of them all, the Game of the Year award. You may be asking yourself, why didn't he just include this game in the list last time? Well, my dear viewers, the answer is quite simple. I never reviewed the best game I played last year, so I wanted to give it a chance to shine while also giving it an unofficial review here on the channel. I had a great time playing this particular game and I can't wait to unveil it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without further ado, may I present to you my Game of the Year for 2020. I'm of course talking about Cyberpunk 2077. I kid, it's Persona 5 Royal. What can I say about Persona 5 Royal? I guess I'll start with a little background. This will sound blasphemous to some, but I had never heard of the Persona series until about 2016 when the hype around Persona 5 intensified. When I finished Nier Automata, I decided, on a whim, to buy Persona 5 and give it a go. I played around 20 hours of it and enjoyed it thoroughly. Despite my good time with Persona 5, however, I put it aside and never went back to it for reasons that remain a mystery even to me. By the time I wanted to return to it, Persona 5 Royal was on its way, so I decided to wait for it instead of going back to the base game. Truth be told, I had no plans to buy Persona 5 Royal right when it first came out. I was going to finish up a few other games and then jump in at a later date. That was the plan until a family member came down with a fever and we all thought it was COVID-19. Thus, I had to quarantine for 2 weeks. What game takes a while and will keep me occupied the entire time, I remembered thinking. The answer is fairly obvious. That game was Persona 5 Royal. In hindsight, I must say that I'm an idiot. No, I'm not an idiot for playing Persona 5 Royal. I'm an idiot for not finishing the original Persona 5 when it first came out back in 2017. Persona 5 Royal is an absolutely fantastic game, which means Persona 5 was as well. I should not have waited so long to play this game, or indeed this series. As I said, Persona 5 Royal is an expanded version of Persona 5. It features new characters, locations, and the combat has been tweaked slightly. Royal is a JRPG in that it features turn-based combat and is an extremely long game. I know I lost most of you after I said turn-based, but, and trust me on this, you do not want to miss this game, especially if you enjoy good storytelling and excellent characters. So, how long of a game is it? Well, let's just say it took me over 113 hours to finish the game. That's almost 5 whole days of my life, folks. Now, I know what you're thinking. Geez, what are you doing with your life? What a waste! My only response to that is I don't want to hear it. I know many people who have watched TV shows which go on for a lot longer than the time it took me to finish Persona 5 Royal, and they've rewatched those shows multiple times even. I don't hear anyone giving them any shit about that. I don't regret spending any of those 113 hours on Persona 5 Royal one little bit, and, I have to say, I was sad when it was over. It is, in my opinion, a triumph of video games, and I hope I'll be able to do it justice once I'm done talking about it here today. Oh, that's right, I'm not done talking about Persona 5 Royal just yet. It is a shame that I fell off of a writing cliff in 2020 and wasn't able to write a proper review for the game. Maybe I'll have to do that one day. We'll see. Anyways, back to the Game of the Year. You step into the shoes of a mostly silent protagonist who has to move from his hometown to Tokyo. Did I mention that Persona 5 Royal is set in Japan? Well, it is. Following what we'll just call an incident. He's a high schooler and you can name him anything you want. By day, you must live the life of a high schooler by going to class, answering questions from teachers, and working on building up your skills. By night, however, you become a member of the Phantom Thieves. You see, things go awry for our protagonist on the very first day of school. While walking to Sujin Academy with a fellow classmate, he soon arrives at a castle instead of a school. As it turns out, you and your soon-to-be friend have stumbled into another world called the Metaverse. While there, both of you awake to a special power. This power, of course, is the ability to summon the eponymous personas. From there, the story turns into a wild romp of an ever-expanding group of high schoolers who, while using their new powers, begin going after powerful people who abuse said power. The story is long and it is wonderful. I love nearly every second of it in case you couldn't tell from the Game of the Year award it is receiving here today. I won't go into much detail about the story because I believe it is best if you experience it for yourself. Just know that it will involve many twists and turns and you will meet many an awesome character along the way. And how about those characters? Every single character in Persona 5 Royal is full of life and personality. from Morgana the cat, yes, I said cat,
I am not a cat.
who helps you in the metaverse, to Lala Escargot, a bar owner. All the characters were a delight, and I loved meeting each and every one of them. It was made even better by the fact that you can make many of them your confidants. Once a confidant, you can hang out with them after school to not only gain valuable skills in battle, but you're also treated to a side story for each confidant. Confidants were one of my favorite parts of Persona 5 Royal, not only because of the tangible benefits you receive from developing these links, but also because each confidant has their own side story. From a doctor who's trying to find a cure for an illness, to a politician trying to escape his corrupt past, all of the confidants were a blast to both talk to and hang out with. It was also interesting trying to manage all of these links, since chances are you won't be able to max out all of the confidants in one playthrough, unless you use a strategy guide, that is. This is due in large part to the time management aspect of Royal. Persona 5 Royal takes place over an entire calendar year. Don't worry, it's not in real time. Each activity and story event takes up a certain amount of time, thus you have to spend your time wisely. This is really my only complaint about Royal as a whole, if I'm being honest. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed role-playing as a high schooler for a year, but I think that the calendar aspect sometimes got in the way of the story. I would always complete a story objective early and then have to wait up to a week of in-game time to see what the outcome was. After writing this, it would appear that the issue is more with my own patience than with the game itself, but I digress. I mentioned battle earlier, and yes, it is a turn-based affair. What I like most about Persona 5 Royal's combat are all of the personas. Each character who joins your protagonist on his journey has their own persona with its own abilities and affinities. Joker, our main dude, has a special ability which allows him to carry multiple personas. He can pick up new personas through a sometimes amusing conversation with them in the middle of battle, or he can fuse new personas in the Velvet Room. You have to play the game to figure out what that is. I can see people spending a lot of time fusing new personas, but I really didn't use it that often, if I'm being honest. I'm glad it's there for those who like that kind of thing, though. I really enjoyed the battles a lot, mainly due to weaknesses. Each persona, including the ones your team uses, has a weakness, and when hit in battle by said weakness, it will fall down. Once down, you can do one more attack to deal more damage. This isn't the only option either. You can baton pass your extra attack to a teammate who gains an attack boost based on how high your confidant rank is with said character. Keep in mind that every single system is connected to one another in Persona 5 Royal. It was a great feeling wiping out an entire enemy team by exploiting weaknesses and baton passing my way to victory. Since Joker can have several different personas, he can become a one-man damage-dealing machine while the rest of the crew looks on. It's good stuff. Oh, and if you knock all the enemies down, you can do an all-out attack. I also have to mention how all the battles are full of visual flair, from the costumes of all the Phantom Thieves in the metaverse to the victory screen for each character after an all-out attack, to even the menus themselves. Everything is designed to draw the eye. And how have I not mentioned how the rest of the game looks? It is nothing short of incredible, if I do say so myself. And I do! I've never seen a game with such a consistently bold look that stays that way throughout the entire game. The visual designers behind Persona 5 Royal deserve a raise, is all I'm saying. I don't know how Atlas is going to top the visual style of Royal in its games after this, but boy am I excited to see them try. And don't get me started on how the game sounds either. I could seriously go on for a dozen more pages about the soundtrack. It is phenomenal. I've listened to this soundtrack more than any other video game OST while driving in my car. I applaud Shoji Meguro and anyone who helped him compose these pieces, from the battle themes, to a few of the shop tracks.
Take care.
To even the themes when walking around town.
sharpshooter. What else should I be? Please don't take off my mask, revealing dark.
Every track breathes new life into Persona 5 Royal, and I absolutely adore it. Even the opening theme is fantastic. It's hard to pick a favorite track out of all of them. If I was forced to choose though, I'd have to say that I Believe is my favorite. I'm still not sure about that pick since all the songs on the soundtrack are so damn good. My only complaint about the OST is that you can't pick which theme plays during a battle. I prefer Last Surprise, which was the main battle theme from the original Persona 5, over Take Over, but that doesn't mean Take Over isn't any good, it's just my personal preference. Alright, I think I'm going to call it here on the soundtrack since, like I said, I could go on and on about it.
It's time to unveil the hype you've been waiting for. It's time to bring an end to question of who will win. It's us. I used to have that feeling, premonition of falling short. Now I have no fear, sees me to fight it together. I believe we can fly up in the sky. One day we may just be able to touch down on the star of the road we have to go. The road is fast, we shall proceed until the end of the road. There's no turning back for us, 'cause we will never give up.
It truly is a shame that I didn't get off my ass last year and write a real review for Persona 5 Royal. Further proof of how great I think the game is lies in my trophies. Yes, I platinumed Persona 5 Royal. It is only the third platinum I've ever gotten. That should tell you how much I enjoyed the game. That and the fact that I spent 113 hours on it. Persona 5 Royal is excellent. In fact, I think I may have enjoyed the game way too much since all of their games feel like lesser experiences by comparison. As I said, I didn't review Royal last year, hence it doesn't have a score from yours truly. Until now. In a pretend gamer first, I give Persona 5 Royal a whopping 10 out of 10. It deserves every single one of those points and then some, and that's what makes it my game of the year for 2020. Play it. You surely won't be disappointed. What were your guys' games of the year for 2020? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear about them. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Do it. Here we go.
Finish him!
There's a look to the horizon.
Hey kids, do you love contests? Well, you're in luck, because this is the first ever Pretend Gamer contest. In my past 2 videos, I mentioned that I've only ever gotten 2 platinums. 2 of the 3 are Bug Snacks and Persona 5 Royal. My question to you is, what is the 3rd platinum I've ever gotten? If you know the answer, ask your parents' permission, write your answer down, and mail it to 555, definitely a fake street, Fakesville, Mississippi, 20769. If you answer correctly, you can win one of these fabulous prizes. Tune in next time for the answer. I forgot to mention that Persona 5 received a sequel of sorts earlier this year with Persona 5 Strikers, so if you like Persona 5, be sure to check out Strikers. Okay, bye!